Kind of spooky out here.
Yeah, it's atmospheric.
Just tell me about your band. What's the name of this band?
Morbid Annihilator.
If this is your first feature,
Yeah.
it's only up from here. And I think that this is a pretty high note to start your career on.
Oh, yeah.
Drive-by movies you're watching.
Fresh releases.
This week, we're talking Sadistic Intentions, directed by Eric Pennycoff and starring Jeremy Gardner and Taylor Zotke.
So it's been a while since we've done an indie horror film, I feel like.
No,
Just
we
kidding.
did
That's
one
all we
last
do.
week.
Yeah, that's all we do. That was my
know-
little break to ice start.
You want to know what also happened last
Yeah.
week? We watched a movie starring Jeremy Gardner.
Oh my gosh. So that's like, we're just on a roll this year with Jeremy Gardner. So far, I mean, one was a miss. One was a hit in my eyes. This one, just steady, I'd say.
Wait, what was your indie horror?
Yeah.
You're talking
well,
about
Bliss was a miss. for
Bliss
sure.
was-
Bliss was it missed the mark. Yeah.
last week a hit.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask you, what about Sadistic Intentions?
Yeah. This one's right in the middle. It's just like, it's okay.
It was coasting.
Yeah, it's coasting. It's okay. I like what they accomplished with what they had, but there's not really a whole lot to it. It feels like the things like elongated just to make it a feature length. This easily could have been
Yeah.
a short film. Yeah.
I think, it definitely would have made not a better short film, but it would have made a really good short film.
Right, yeah.
Not compared to this at all, but I agree there are some scenes that like kind of drag on when nothing's really going on that much. The actors are kind of chewing the scenery as much as they can in like a certain amount of time, and then we're still a very shorter runtime.
Right.
So it's like, what are we
80
doing
minutes.
here?
I was like, ooh, this is going to be short and sweet. I'm like, no, these scenes are stretched out to where just like, like we're getting too much of this. Like
Yeah.
the scene where, I mean, like when our main character or main girl is like tied up and stuff, like just like that was like stretched out for way too long and unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I actually liked the moments though where they're like getting to know each other because they actually did have chemistry. I thought like it was pretty like as actors, not saying as like a couple per se, but
Yeah. No, you're talking about them and their personal.
Oh yeah, them in their personal life. Yeah, they're definitely obviously friends and they're dating outside the movie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all jokes. Yeah,
But mainly, I would say I agree with you. I think some scenes were dragged out, and those are the scenes that didn't have great dialogue. Like I think that the writing was excellent in this movie for most of it, and the reason why some scenes seem like they take too long is because that you're missing that writing that really works and gives those characters chemistry towards the beginning of the film.
my guess is this is like a mumblegore movie, also where a lot of it was improvised. I could be wrong. We don't really have any fun facts about the movie, but it felt like a lot of scenes were just like, we just need to get to this scene, so like make it happen. Just take as long as you want, and we'll record it. Yeah.
There is sadly no trivia on this movie. It is on the indie side, so I'm not going to say that it is, but I agree. I did kind of feel at times that, but I think it's those scenes where there's not really too much dialogue, seem really improvised. But therefore, there are these scenes that have like pretty good dialogue, really builds on the chemistry of these two characters that are just meeting for the first time,
Right.
Very innocently, or are they?
Right. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Are they? Yeah. So I mean, we're not too many people are talking about this movie, so we're gonna just flat out say like a lot of people don't have access to this movie. You can rent it on video on demand, but for those who are interested and just want to know what happens in the movie, like we're just gonna straight up spoil it. But like, yeah, I mean, so like we kind of figured it was gonna get into like just like the rocker guy is in on it the whole time, but actually it turns out he wasn't really in on it. It seemed like he was just more covering for his friend and just like wanted to fuck around with this girl. I don't know why he thought that'd be fun.
He's totally in over his head. He's very self-indulgent, and it really kind of, comes to a head where he kind of gets himself out of the situation, but then he just still can't get himself out of his head and thinking that,
His bandmate's like losing it. He's like way too crazy. And like, I don't know if he's like that normally or if something like turned the switch on with him and just like he went like over.
I mean, I think he just takes the metal like way too seriously.
Yeah.
Like so essentially they're in a metal band together and they're trying to make this
They're
like
a two-piece
sacrifice.
band.
Yeah, I guess they're just a two-piece band.
Yeah.
Where's the drummer? They both play guitar.
Right.
Do any of them sing?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
My guess is because there was that like scene where he's like teaching her how to do like scream vocals and stuff, and you know, my guess is he's the screamer. Jeremy Gardner is the screamer of this metalcore band, or no, not metalcore, but just deathcore or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
Satan core.
Yeah. I was expecting though, like there to be like some kind of cult intentions behind it, like they have sadistic intentions, but like there wasn't really like a purpose for it. I felt like, I mean, I guess he knew the family or whatever. Like, was that brought up, or did I just miss something? Or
no, he did know him in the beginning. They like, oh, didn't expect you here so early because it's like the morning,
right? Yeah.
I assume like the family went on a trip and like come back, and maybe it was a neighbor or a friend
or his son,
family or something.
Said, what'd you do to my kid? Or something?
Yeah. But I feel like he's a neighbor because the kid was like kind of young. I feel like
right.
But I don't know. I'm not gonna look too into it. All I saw was like literally a body that's on the floor face down and some heads.
And then later on in the movie, we got 4 heads. Yeah, those are like I mean, like it's done comically at times. But did the comedy land for you at all?
I think it's there. Yeah, I don't think it's too outside the box. I mean, it's not like the best written comedy ever, but it's like pretty funny with just the situation itself. Like, so I think the comedy I think it lands.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seems like it didn't land for you, but
not so much, unfortunately. Like I wanted it to, but like I said though, it's like a solid debut. Like I'd say, like just because this director obviously like just wanting to make a movie and like did what he could, and I hope it gets more work out of it because it actually is a well like look. It looks like really well done, and like color wise, like he did a good job on like. With his directorial choices.
Yeah. And I would say we might not sound like we're too high on the movie, but I think like with all things aside that we said, it is a really impressive first feature. I'm definitely interested in anything else like he does. Yeah. And I think it was interesting to put Jeremy Gardner in the lead in this film and then release it alongside his other film that had, more acclaim because it was a sophomore effort.
Right.
And this is like kind of the first feature, but like they did a great job of piggybacking off it. They got released on the same day, Valentine's Day. It's not really a romantic film, but it does have elements where like it seems like it should be a romantic film.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it's more of a comedy, like a horror comedy.
I was hoping it would be more romantic and stuff, but like overall the end though was satisfying too. Like seeing her like we were like making jokes about the pencil the whole movie, and then just seeing that used as the weapon at the final scene in the movie, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it really went full circle all the way around. Yeah. So I enjoyed that aspect. I always love when like just a little item can end up as a major plot point in the film. So that was really cool.
Yeah, got lead in the head. Damn.
And this film actually really reminded me, funny enough, of like Murder Party, which is Jeremy.
Oh yeah.
It's Jeremy Saulnier's first movie. If you don't know him, he made Blue Ruin and also Green Room. So Eric Pennycoff, you got some big shoes to fill. I'm looking forward to your next films because I think that this was like, if this is your first feature, it's only up from here. And I think that this is a pretty high note to start your career on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like the horror genre is the way to do it. And hopefully they stay within the horror genre, I'd say. But yeah, overall, like even though like it didn't like do it for me to where it's like groundbreaking, like I still recommend for any horror fans to check this movie out, especially like indie horror, like support indie horror. And these are the movies that like I always enjoyed, and these are the movies that made me want to become a filmmaker. And so like it's just cool to see more movies like this. I know they're out there, but seeking them, it can be tough, and I'm glad that Jeremy Gardner did it just so that way, and that is what brought it to our attention, I'd say. Yeah.
Definitely, guys, check this movie out. The easiest way to support the show and watch this movie is by clicking the Amazon affiliate link in the description below and supporting the show.
After doing that, leave a comment and let us know what you thought about Sadistic Intentions. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
That's it for Drive-By Movies this week. Tune in next week for a brand new, fresh releases.